Peace. It's Tuesday tea and bourbon. Let's go ahead and share, come in the space, hold the space, because we always have much medicine to share and give. Peace, peace. Come on in, grab your tea or your bourbon or whatever you're drinking, and come into the space. Waiting for my sisters to show up. All right, had to post this and tag it, pin it. All right, welcome to Tuesday Tea and Bourbon. Y'all let us know what you're sipping on when you're coming in the door. Gonna bring the sisters in one by one and twos by twos, because that's how we do. Peace. Hi, beautiful.
I'm so excited. I'm like, it worked.
I know. I know. We're having technical difficulties for a couple of weeks now. So.
Oh my goodness. So crazy.
Oh, okay. Let's see. How's your day going?
It's going pretty good. It's been kind of smooth, like it's like small bumps, but we're good.
Yeah. It definitely was that kind of day. It's been interesting energy.
Like the energy was just kind of like, I felt like the energy was a little off today. So I was like checking myself. I'm like, is it me? I had to stop, do a little meditation in the middle of the day. So I was like, is it me?
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely doing something. We have to check in and see what's going on in the astrological world.
Yeah, for sure.
What else is going in? Okay, there you go. Joy should be coming in shortly. Yeah, because my day was like that too. It was like
a little off.
Yeah.
Like
laughing.
Can you hear me?
All right. Peace. How's your day going, Joy? We're talking about how it's been kind of a little off today.
Same. I mean, it's been good. There was good energy around it, but there were snafus for sure. My printer will not cooperate.
Yes, exactly.
Little things like that. It's
yeah.
But no worries. I also have to get because I moved, y'all have LLCs too. So it's when you move and then you have to change all that stuff, on the business end. Oh my God. I've been on the phone with Oregon. I've been on the phone with North Carolina. No one has any real answers. And then they're like, but you could pay us $200. Sorry. Let me just do this on my own.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask you about that today too, because I was like, I wonder if Joy changed her license plate over, because that's what I went out to do today, finally, after I finally got a letter in the mail from North Carolina, because I know these states don't talk, but I'm in this in between where I have my car in Georgia, so I have to have Georgia insurance. But in North Carolina, I have to, in order for me to have my tag still there, I have to have North Carolina insurance. Wow. So they so it's a mess. So I went to the DMV.
You got in?
I went in that parking lot and turned around.
There you go. That's exactly. Oh my God.
We'll try this again another day.
What you need to
lines
do.
in both directions.
Is it because of COVID that the DMV is so slammed? People are
okay. In North Carolina, they let you do appointments, but it might take you a month or two to get your appointment, but they don't do appointments here. So they just got people standing outside all day.
Wow.
You need to bring your soccer mom outfit. You need to bring the snacks with the Capri Suns. And you just post up outside. Oh,
wow.
I'm like, we'll try it another day. I still got another week to get us together. So
I mean, let's just say I have an appointment made, because I don't want to be outing myself on Instagram. But I have an appointment made, and it's just been just all these little paperworky things, and then it's time consuming.
Yeah,
No one's.
Adulting is
it is. It's so much. It's so much. I'm just like, I don't want to do any of it. Like, I put everything on auto pay, everything on whatever, because I'm like, the less I got to worry about, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to stress and worry over nothing right now.
Yes. Well,
I'm
my
just
thing
bored.
too, I hear you. My thing too is, because like Tuesday Tea is about, everything, including like business stuff. I think this is good to talk about because I went through, tell me this, y'all, if you did an LLC, if you just went straight through the state or you did through a third party. Because I went through this third party business that like filed all this, stuff for you or whatever. And they gave you the whole packet and like anything that I need is like through this system because I was new to, I've never had an LLC. I've never owned a business. I've always worked for people. So I was like, this is all in one. This is all encompassing. I'm going to be efficient. I'm like you, Joy. I'm like, auto pay. Here we go. Everything's good. It's done. And I actually highly regret it because going through the state is just cheaper, number one.
Yeah.
You just download the shit, which is why I try to get my printer to work. I'm like, come on. And
Yeah.
I'll just never do, I will say I'll never do a third party to do my stuff for me ever again. Because like,
Well,
they,
well, well. Don't
oh.
say that. Because you heard me and got 3 LLCs. I'm not doing none of that paperwork. So,
Right.
wow. I have my accountant do them because
Okay.
and that's not my wheelhouse at all. At all. I don't want to mess anything up, and I've done that before.
Yeah.
I've done that before. When I had my other businesses, it was, trying to keep up with Schedule C's and taxes and all that stuff. And it was just, and separate my personal, it messed me up. And now I got 3 businesses. So I'm not even playing with it. My accountants did them, went through all the paperwork, just had us sign, do what we had to do. And that's it.
Who are your email me your accountants?
Yeah, I will. I've
Please.
actually preached on to her.
Thank you.
Whenever, like, even for my switchover, when I told her when I was moving, she was like, just let me know and I'll change it for you. So I'll just do that. Yeah, it's just, when you get to that point, if you got the time, do it. But if you got the bandwidth, but I don't either.
So I registered my LLCs myself through the state.
Okay.
But then when I opened up my second company, what I decided to do, and I'm finding that a lot of people don't really know about this, but instead of creating a secondary LLC, I did a DBA through the state. Yeah. So instead of, instead of having the LLC and then paying that every year, or, like having taxes on that, I just went ahead and did a DBA under the current LLC that I have and established that so that I wouldn't have to worry about it. But in terms of taxes, just like Joy said, like, I do not have the bandwidth for that. I have a person who's been in my family forever. So that is the man who gets all of my money.
Yes.
Like, he does everything. So the only thing that I have to worry about is like, doing the quarterly taxes. Like, I'll, work on that stuff at my own, or registering everything through the state and making sure everything is done. Like, that's what I do. But in terms of like anything that has to do with money, I educate myself so that when I go into those spaces, I know the lingo and you know what I'm saying? I understand what's going on, but I have somebody else do that because my brain can only do so much.
Can you tell everybody, Erica, like for those who don't have an LLC or maybe want to, like what a DBA is? Like, we have like a limited liability company, and then you have that subtext.
Yeah, so a DBA is doing business as, that's basically the abbreviation. And essentially it's like, if you have a company that's already in motion, making money, but you maybe you're trying out this new company, or you don't want to have to pay an additional like taxes or establishment of an LLC, you go ahead and do a doing business as, and it's like an alias for your new LLC, or sorry, for your first LLC. It's like an alias. So you'll sit there and, you'll be able to have still a functioning business, be able to create a logo and do your branding and everything like that, but it will be under the establishment. So It's like Lux Art Tech, which is my DBA, was actually under my ETA Lux LLC. So it's just an establishment, and it's a way for you to kind of organize yourself, especially if you're looking to incorporate, like have a corporation at the end of the day. Like if that's something you want to build out, like a corporation umbrella that is basically, sometimes, not all the time, but it's basically a huge LLC that has a bunch of little LLCs underneath. So it's like starting yourself out to see if you really want to move into that route. But if you're, it's a cheaper way of establishing multiple businesses. Can you guys still hear me?
That's so dope. Look at us go.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. My thing too is because this is it's so funny because acupuncture is seen so differently in the state of Oregon, right? And in California. Can y'all hear me okay? Is there like okay. Versus here in North Carolina. So like it's kind of a different thing. Like I had registered myself as an LLC in Oregon, and then moving here, I was like, well, do I want to dissolve that in Oregon and then reestablish myself here in North Carolina? Or there was the option of like perhaps even making myself a nonprofit while I'm here, which is a lot of fucking work. Like that is a lot of work. And then it's like, who is in my guild? Like this guild, like who's my team?
Yeah.
For all of that. So like I was really, just kind of going back and forth. And just like you said, Joy, like states don't talk to each other.
Sure don't.
So
purpose, right? It's just creates more barriers for us, more hoops.
Lord.
Especially for small business owners or growing business owners,
Right.
It's trying to figure out how to navigate those systems especially when you're moving, But it's good to go to those key people to talk to, like, the lawyers, the tax people, to make sure your stuff is in order. So that's like always at the top of my list when I'm moving, in my personal priorities as well as my business priorities. It's like, okay, what is the legal stuff that I need to make sure that my fees are
right. Yeah. It's true.
I mean, everything, talk about organization, Erica, that makes everything like, go a little bit more smoothly when okay, this fits in this category, this is what I have to take care of, and you can kind of, check those off the list a little bit smoother. But
I definitely, even in counties, like if you move counties, like I moved from one county to another, and you better believe you still got to talk to the peoples and call everybody and do the things, because honestly, like at least in the state of Florida, like every county has a different tax. So you have to make sure that you re-register and redo the things, because if not, you're like, it's
no.
I can't wait to get to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, assistant.
Yeah. That my medical biller, my future medical biller will do the thing. So, like, oh my God.
Yeah, and that's something that's good to know too. Of like adding, I was looking at that in my I don't know, my journal or something, and I wrote down. I was looking like, okay, what do I need at this part of my journey in my work to be a part of my team?
Yeah.
So what are those pieces that are going to help me to grow that I can, Erica, we were talking about this yesterday about like, how do we get some of the stuff off our plate so that we can take care of ourselves, first of all. And then, do some other things that we really, they cause for our attention and our creativity. So, yeah.
I definitely have been talking to the universe every single day when I wake up. I'm just like, okay, I want to be able to have a correspondence meeting with such and such people in the morning. Like I've already like started prepping myself so that I can get into the swing of things, because I know that it's going to come. And when it does come, I want to be super prepared to just be like, here you go. Here's all the things. I have given you all of the blueprints, all of the reasons and the ways of doing these things. Just go take care of it. I want to go water my plants.
That's the big thing. That's the hardest thing, especially like in my business that I have a partnership with, is documenting everything, right? So that we can, if we are talking about growing our businesses, franchising, incorporating it, whatever we're gonna do, we need to be documenting those processes,
Yep.
those you know, those SOPs, those policies, all of that stuff, so that when we are ready to hand over and delegate, we have the systems already in place, and somebody can cookie cutter what we're already doing.
Yep.
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 So
Yeah,
important.
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work at first, but yeah, I feel like I'm like at this I'm right there where it's like I have a lot of things in place so that when, like, as it does start to continue to pour in, I'm gonna have to, like, now I'm gonna be easily positioned to hand stuff over, you know, task oriented stuff. But yeah, it's work, running business.
Yeah. And
Well,
it just
9 to 5
just,
to like just 24 hours. No.
exactly. It's like you sign up, at least on the outside looking in, you're signing up because you know you want the freedom of it all and you want to have the luxury of it all, but at the core, I think in the beginning stages is really where you have to like just like put them gloves on and get in that ring for as long as you can and last for as long as you can, because I know that at every single, at least during the conversations that I've been having with people who are either leveling up their business during COVID or just trying to do their best in this time to like work with a team, there are so many like brain things that you have to get over first.
Yeah.
Like mindset shifts that you have to make in order for you to be a true owner of something. And then you get into the actual practice of the leadership role of it all. And it's just every single step takes new energy and new your printer's talking to us too.
Oh, I thought it was somebody was beatboxing right there. Like, what is that?
I hate that this is interrupting you, Erica, because I keep going because what you're saying is really important, and this is just a mess. So, and I can't mute myself.
Your printer is giving us the DJ vibes early.
Like, I don't even know what it's doing. All right.
But yes,
okay.
it's just an energy shift at every single space that you move forward, and it's a learning curve. All of it is a learning curve. But it's, you know, we're building things for generations to come. These things that we're doing are changing not only ourselves but our DNA in order for us to like be able to have those true leaders moving forward. So I try to take everything in stride, and like you said, Joy, like give myself a little grace.
Yeah, like you talked about, like taking everything in stride. That is the biggest part, because even though I think I got wrapped up real quick in the whole ego around like legacy building, right? Because then I'm putting it completely on myself.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, right? And not thinking about the fact that my legacy is my son, my nieces, my sisters, my brothers, whoever else, like, you know, and not putting it on myself. And so then it gives me more grace and freedom to enjoy my process, even as I'm building and growing in my business, because it is several learning curves. Like, it's dealing with my finances and personal life is one thing, but dealing with finances and business, and then when you add LLCs, S corps, N corps, all that stuff on top of it, it's a whole nother game.
Yeah.
And then adding partners, it's a whole nother game. And that's what I learned last year. Was like, oh, I can't pretend like I'm making all the decisions anymore, because I'm not. So it's another communication.
Everything is a meeting and a talk and a it requires a lot.
And allowing yourself to like be in that, you know, and allow yourself to learn the lessons that come with that, and not feeling like, oh, but I have to build this legacy, I have to build my empire, you know. Like, it might, I mean, even if you only get to the point of like, when you transition, nobody has to pay your bills. And that has never been done before in your family, you've done something.
Yeah, you've done something.
You've done something. Even if you lived healthy, you know, lived healthy till you were 95, and you were the first one to be able to do that in a long time in your family, whatever. You've done something. You've changed a little bit of your DNA just doing that. You know, but it's the process. It's taking, our life is all of the things that we are doing in it, and not the separate you know, big pieces that we want to be grandiose about. Like, it's just, we have to take it in stride. We do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the process is slow.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that you were hitting on like the point of the ego, like building this legacy with the ego, because you also don't know, like, I don't have children yet, but you know, like building this, you know, like building my credentials and even my portfolio with like stocks and crypto and whatever, like my kids might not be into that at all. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
might be like you know, who knows like what they'll be into, but it might not be for them. They'll have some, you know, like cushion for like whatever it is they might want to do. But you know, aside from that, I mean, I think building this, because I don't have children yet, is more like the fruition of an idea for everybody to have accessible healthcare in my realm, in my lane.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like part of like why I really have to make this. It's so funny that I have to move in a way that's like a business, even though it's with healthcare, which tells you a lot about how our system is run, period. But you know, it's just like, well, can I do this and still be like an LLC? Or there's like, you know, more tax breaks with a nonprofit, but like the rigmarole with the nonprofit is just like not it. So, you know, like, in what lane do I want to be in with that? And thinking in future terms, like what's going to benefit myself the most, because I have to think of myself first and foremost. I have, you know, bills, I have loans, you know, I've got all kinds of stuff with school. So just like thinking long term, but in a way that feels like it's aligning right now. I'm still with the, you know, like not hustle, but aligning. But some days, just like Erica was saying, like, you know, you have to like punch your weight, you know, until you like really see that result. And then you can kind of, you know, be in the corner, get your shoulders massaged, and someone bringing you the water bottle. I'm Ali in the corner.
Oh my goodness. That's the balance right now. I'll be trying to figure out some days. I'm like, am I being lazy or am I resting?
That is literally what I said today. That is literally what I said today. Literally what I said today.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a mental strain almost as you're creating things and as you're like developing and having all of these new ideas and you're in this management space and you're, you know, just doing all the things. And then some days you're just like, I just don't want to do any of it. Right. Maybe today I just want to, what's funny for me and why I'm stopping is like, I'll say, oh, I don't want to do any of it. And I'll still be doing loads of it.
Yeah.
And then still feeling guilty about the small amount that I'm doing. So there's like so much work that goes into really and truly owning a business and developing yourself in that motion. And like, yeah, like I said, like you were saying, Joy, like I don't have kids yet. And I was laughing with Joy about this yesterday too. It's like, how do you even manage this business, this thing, the kid, the partner, the house, the plant? Like, I'm just like,
yeah.
Everybody just sleep. Everybody go to sleep.
Yeah.
Everybody go to sleep.
Yeah. This is the reason why I only have the kid and my plants, because I can't. 3 businesses, a kid, and a plant. That's it. Can't. I can't even think about it. Like I've talked about, you know, thought about like relationships and like what, I don't even know what that looks like for me in this part, you know, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna leave it alone. It's just a lot to handle. And I'm really enjoying this space. Like I feel so fulfilled, and not saying that you need relationships in order to like fill this void, which a lot of people do, but you know, I feel so fulfilled in my work, in myself, in my sisterhoods, and my, you know, the brothers that I have, like all of this. And it's a lot of work. And some days, I just can't imagine fitting in anything else into it.
I think that's where divine partnership comes in.
Oh,
like a true understanding, because like even though I feel the overwhelm, I feel like I'm able to make so many more things work with the divine partnership. Like a person who truly understands like what makes you tick and is like, please go do all of the things that make you feel fulfilled, and just like to the point where I'll be like, I don't want to, and he'll be like, I'm sorry, but you just said that you like holding me accountable. I'll be like, oh, okay, let me go through the things.
That's
but
what
in any other situation where it's like maybe developing something new or trying to really, you know, encompass myself in like dating multiple people or multiple energies while facilitating a relationship and doing all of these things, I'm just like, I don't know how I'll be able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a difference. I mean, I can say, well, no, I can't say that I've actually experienced all that at one time. And that's what I feel like too, is like, that's a narrative that I feel like we also need to confront within ourselves. You know, all these traditional concepts around like business, how we run our businesses, this hustle bustle, you know, no sleep.
Yeah.
You know, how we think about relationships. It has to be this I give my all partner relationships instead of thinking of it in divine partnership and allowing that person to be whoever they need to be in this world as well, so that I can be whoever I am. Because it's we are just so multifaceted and so layered in so many ways. Just giving myself to any one thing, whether it's I give it to people, I don't know. I'm like, do I give them big ups for the fact that they stay at a job for 40 years? I mean, I guess if that's what you came here to do. But I can imagine that for myself. Like, I can't even stay in one state for 2 years. I mean, it's different levels of commitment, you know, and different priorities for everybody. And so, allowing yourself to explore those possibilities, to figure out, you know, what works for you at this point in time and what doesn't. A couple years ago, just a relationship and business, and my son worked. I didn't have any outside type of, you know, I wasn't doing anything else outside of that. You know, but now it's like no, business, me, my son, my sisterhood, and that's it. You know, whatever else I want to do. But I mean, just figuring out those, you know, the puzzle pieces, like what works for you in this puzzle, like
yeah.
At
this point in the puzzle, what piece is gonna fit?
What were you gonna say, Joy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you were talking about like, being equally yoked with a partner. And I would say that, you know, like for like a romantic partner or for a business partner or even in sisterhood or even in, you know, like gathering together every Tuesday with y'all, like it's divine timing and that's what makes it work. And so like, I won't move any other way. I mean, and I think that's what is really the beauty of, I'm a little frustrated with my talkative printer and my, you know, and my, like trying to figure out like how to move my LLC and whatnot. But honestly, like I just believe so heartily in like slow growing, that those are the things that are really gonna like make last, you know. So like if I've been rocking with somebody even in like a friendship for years and years, and then it all of a sudden develops into something else, that's a beautiful thing, you know, whether it's like in business or media or romance, like then that's kind of like a sure thing for me. But it's not until those pieces of the universe just kind of go, there you go, and it just like all aligns where I'm gonna have this full bodied like, oh yeah, you're the one, yeah, this is it, this is a business move, these are the people, this is the partner. Like I can't say yes wholeheartedly if it's not like that.
So when we talk about alignment, do you think of alignment as in, okay, we think we understand that it being, you know, this divine timing, place, whatever. But when you are, I guess, like distancing yourself from someone, or this relationship is shifting or changing, is that falling out of alignment? Or like, what is it? What do you think?
I guess, I don't know. I mean, like off the cuff, I think it would depend on like the kind of relationship. Like, you know, if I was in like a long-standing like like business partnership, for example, and those things were like shifting and changing, you know, or like if I was at like a job that I was at 9 to 5 for like 40 years, and I was just at that time in my life where I'm like, man, I'm fed up with this shit. That to me still feels like I'm being aligned and called in another way that suits my purpose and, you know, like all my prosperities in a way where it's like, yeah, no, yes, yes. Like, you know, there's I think a difference for that. But I don't know if I would say that it wasn't in alignment. I'm a believer, and I've gone through some, I think everybody can attest to their own stuff that they've gone through, you know, like, and when you look back at it, with like, if you can, if you're at that stage of healing where you can look back with some like gratitude, then you can kind of understand that all things were there for a reason and you had to go through the thing. Like, you know, my gloves are still on the wall.
Yep. I still
my heavyweight title's still on the wall, but I've put that to the side.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And definitely if you have awareness in that, all things, I can say that. But if you don't have awareness in that, sometimes we just create chaos and keep creating chaos for ourselves. And it doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily meant for our good or for our, you know, or to learn a lesson. It's just we keep creating the same scenarios over and over again.
Yeah.
Until you fucking get it. But yeah, I definitely believe in, you know, these, I mean, I believe in impermanence, period. You know, that everything, our lives, everything is not completely, but everything is always changing. Yeah. So you know, and talk about business relationships, you know, I am still partnering in a business that I'm not even in the same city anymore. And so those relationships shift and they look differently because responsibilities look different. You know, the communication looks different. The trust looks different because now where I had a lot of say so in some things, or where we would come in and talk to each other about things, I'm not there, you know, so I have to trust that they're running the business and all integrity of what we have all created it to be, you know. And so that's, I think, and it's still in alignment, you know, even if things dissolve, it's still, because I know it's in alignment with my highest vision and what I intended for me to do for my community, for my business and my service and my work. It's still in alignment, because now in that relationship, I've learned about, like I said, I learned about partnership in business that I didn't know before, because all my life I've been a solo entrepreneur, or I was working for someone, you know. So being a business partnership is a different relationship, which I feel like also can help me benefit even in my romantic partnerships, because because it's a different level of management and maintenance that comes in when you're in any type of partnership. So, you know,
I always believe that, like, if you can master some formality of communication in any relationship that you're in, even the relationship with yourself, there is like a translation of the frequency that happens amongst every single relationship. Because then the number one thing that you learn to do is listen. And you're not just hearing, but you actually listen to either the inflections of a person's voice, or you can hear fear automatically when you really trust and learn communication. So I honestly believe that it can translate to anything. Like you said, it doesn't just have to be a business, or it doesn't just have to be like, you know, going back to the ego thing. Like, if you're able to identify that ego throughout yourself, then you can identify that in other people that you work with, that you love, even in your parents, like just across the board.
Yeah, and that's definitely that's my constant lesson, being, you know, Gemini rising, Gemini moon. It's like, yeah, I constantly face that ego, and it's a beautiful experience, because it puts me back into that humbling, and not in the humble. And I no longer have to be humble, like damn near, you know, in the ground. But now it's like, oh, now I know why this relationship showed up, so I can see myself a little bit more clearly.
Right.
And so that's what happens for me in partnerships and relationships. Is, the listening part. Not only am I listening to them, but I'm listening to myself and how I'm responding to them. and what's coming up for me. Like a whole lot of triggers come up for me in certain partnerships where I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was responding that way. I didn't know that was coming up in me. Let me figure out where this is coming from.
Yeah.
And also I think we've got to think about that too when we're dealing with our clients. Like how do we deal with stuff like that when it comes up in our clients? And sometimes I've had clients that reflect a lot of the things that I have, of course, that I have been through, because that's part of my work, is sharing and helping people through some of the experiences I've had. But yeah, when that shows up, it's like, oh, okay, this was me. This was me. So let me deal with this a little bit more compassionately than I dealt with myself, even. Because I have a better understanding of who that is now.
Yeah. I wonder if there's like you know how in romantic partnerships you have like the love languages or whatnot, but are there those for like business too?
I don't know. I think in some cases they do translate.
Yeah, probably. Acts of service.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like acts of service, like depending on whatever your business is, like it definitely translates. But so much of everything that comes in, like we were talking about divine partnership, whether it's romantic or it's business.
Oh yeah, affirmation
comes into like us not having to do. It's not just about us anymore, right? It's not just about like serving yourself. It's actually about giving. So you have to like find the joy in that, and like so much of it translates over.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that part. Like the joy that I get out of giving my service, it's a gift to me. It's a returning gift. The quality time that I spend with my clients. That's why I love my private clientele, because it's like I can just focus on them and their energy, and it's so much more fulfilling for them as well as it is for me. Oh, both of y'all spinning. Can y'all hear me?
You too.
Yeah, same.
I know.
Both of you guys are spinning for me too, but I can still hear you.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, and the affirmations is definitely, and and wellness work. We give that a lot. We do that a lot. Affirm our clients, affirm ourselves.
That made me think of playing like a track off of Supreme Clientele. Once you said that.
Track off of Supreme Clientele.
Yeah, Ghostface.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is that? I should know Ghostface. That's my boo right here. But yeah, I was like going back to the affirmations. I had a group that I was co-teaching on Saturday, and Friday night. I'm always still nervous. I've been doing this for years, and when it comes to especially groups that I have never taught before, I get anxious. I get anxiety. I get nervous. I get doubtful. The imposter syndrome starts to come in.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with certain organizations, and it's like, oh, you're gonna be talking to doctors. It's like, oh, okay. And so Friday night I got into that headspace as I was chilling, Netflixing and just relaxing. And like my mind was like, Joy, you need to get up and prepare yourself. You need to da-da-da. And I literally heard Joy's voice and was like, you already got this. You already do this. Like, this is who you are. And I was like, you're right.
Girl, lay back down. Lay back down.
It's so true.
But I still had to tell myself, like, okay, in order to like bring some ease about it, and also so that I can be in ritual when I do go into this space, because again, I don't want to get caught up in the ego around like, yes, I know I am this work, but I also want to be prepared to hold space, to be the container for why I am here. So, I was like, okay, I'll get up, 7:00. Event don't start at 10. I'll get up 7:00, prepare myself, do what I normally do every day, do my rituals, my prayers, all the other stuff I need to do. But it's just amazing how when I did that, I allow myself to immediately rest that evening and then get up, and I was like ready, and amazing. It was amazing just going into that space and saying the affirmations over myself.
Yeah.
You know, to affirm like this is like, you know, just help my voice resonate with who I am in this space with, so that I can give the message or hold the container and share whatever I need to share, you know. So yeah, the affirmations is really big for me. Y'all know I keep affirmations around me everywhere. So just as much as I, you know, share it in my work and you know, encourage my clients to use it, I definitely have to use it on myself. And sometimes I hear my sister's voices come in my head.
Lay back down so you feel better, girl.
Oh yes.
Oh, we gotta do it.
I had a little bit of that this weekend too, because I did a thing for, it was a foundation out in Oregon, and it was like my first time doing a virtual conference, and I was like, I have no idea how this is gonna go. And instead of like passing a mic, they were like passing the Zoom, and I was like, oh, this is about to this is about to be a mess. But it wasn't. It was good. They did good. But I ended up finding out that they were like recording everybody the entire time, and I was like, well, I don't know who's watching it then, you know, like it being broadcast. Like I have no idea. So that was a little awkward. I think I'd prefer like TED Talk style, you know, like let me just like sweat on stage in front of you.
Oh my gosh, I could not. I mean, I'm not saying I could not, but those TED Talks, that would be so powerful and intimidating.
Yeah.
Doesn't it become, after a while, becomes like muscle memory though? Like after you know, like affirm it over yourself and you practice, it's almost like your brain and body remembers the experience, so that like when you get up there, like you don't have to be like as nervous.
Yeah, I mean, always once I'm in front of people, I'm like out of body, you know. I'm now channeling whatever needs to come through, so I'm not even feeling the anxiety or anything. But yeah, the jitters before though is like, yeah, I have to use my toolbox. I have to reaffirm myself. I have to say, Joy, we've done this many times before.
Where's your indica and your ashwagandhas
Right.
and your CBDs?
All of it. Man. Yeah.
Your bourbon shot.
Yeah. Yep, it's a challenge. What y'all drinking over there?
Some Tulsi rose and some honey.
Oh, I like Tulsi.
This is
What
delicious.
is Tulsi? Tell the people who don't know what that is, including myself, what that
it's
is.
Holy basil. I wish Lucretia was on here because she probably knows all like the magical components of it, but like super Shen spirit calming, because it's rose. I think that it has like an affinity for like the heart and the mind, and it's just like it tastes delicious, and it's just like namesake, and also just makes me feel good.
Yeah, real side.
Yeah.
I just have what I have, green tea. I have my oat straw and something else, peppermint.
Who's on your mug?
Oh, Aaliyah. I have Aaliyah today.
I love that. You have the best mugs.
Yes, I get it from my peoples, local peoples, my black artists.
I really want. You have a Muhammad Ali one, don't you?
Yeah. This is from the same collection. Yeah.
Yes. Did I tell you guys? This is a true story. That I was held by him when I was a baby.
What?
This is a kind of this is a vulnerable story. I was adopted when I was a baby, like infant, and that is just the whole long colonization story. Y'all know me now, so like don't think that really, you know, it had an effect on me in a different way that they were not expecting. But when they wanted to adopt, Muhammad Ali had this like rec camp center that he would go and train at. It's like Deer Lake Park Camp in Pennsylvania. You can Google it. And so they got a letter in the mail right after they had adopted me from Honduras, and they decided to go up. It didn't say that he would be there, but they just like brought me up in the stroller or whatever, and they wanted to like take a tour of the thing, because at the time, while he was like on an off season, like not training, they actually housed like unwed like youth and like young mothers for like either like some sort of like safe space or rehabilitation, or an option for adoption or adopting out. And so they decided to go up there and support this like weekend. And while they were there, they were just like pushing me in the stroller, and they passed there's a very small chapel on the place, and Paul, his name is Paul. You can think of him as my father, but I don't. But his name is Paul. And he looked inside and he was like, oh my God. He was like, that's Muhammad Ali inside. And he had like surprised the camp that weekend and came. And he was like in this chapel, just kind of like doing his prayer, because I think he was Muslim at the time, and they just had, the chapel there. So he was using it as his own. And he saw me, and he basically went up to them and was like, give me the kid. like, give me this baby, because it's yours. Give me the baby. And he had me for quite some time and was like circling the chapel with me. And apparently they didn't have a camera with them because they weren't expecting him to be there. But apparently I like reached up and like,
touch the God. Touch the God.
God help me.
Let me just rub.
I love that.
Just rub off.
Yeah. I love that story. I can visualize it. I can see it.
Seriously.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'll
yeah,
always
thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for listening. Any imagery of him is like so powerful to me, because it feels like I like muscle memory remember him. Like, right, that's right. I'm gonna do 20 push-ups for you today.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely one of my ascended teachers. Use that medicine. That confidence building. That's another one. Like, we can hear that. Yeah.
Unapologetic.
Unapologetic. Mm-hmm.
Love him.
All right.
What
we got today? What y'all got? What y'all drinking on here? We got a few people that held the space. It's the quietest y'all been. It must have been that kind of day for everybody.
Yeah, I think it has. Mm-hmm. I definitely think it has.
Yeah. What's going on in the ethers, Joy?
We're in a retrograde period. I'll say that for sure.
Oh, that's definitely. The Pluto? Is it Pluto?
Oh my God. It's Pluto, and it won't go direct until like October. So like, and it's like retrograde season. So I think like your Mars will go in retrograde. Oh my gosh, I'd have to look it up. I think Venus might go in retrograde. Pluto will be in retrograde, and there's one other one that's coming up. Mercury.
Okay, well that could explain your printer situation.
Oh my God, this thing is too talkative for me today. But I think what this retrograde is saying too, like if the pandemic is used as a portal and taught us anything, it was to slow down, and like retrogrades are very much like that. But if you think about those in terms of like the planets that they're in, and then you look at your chart and say, oh, my Pluto's in, people who are of my generation were in Pluto Scorpio. So like we were sent to destroy the things that weren't meant to last and then build that new. So I think by October, like September, October, you'll really start to see the fruitions of that. But, there's still things to be crumbled. So you'll see that too.
Yeah.
It was a powerful time.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely.
Oh, and tomorrow's a portal too, because it's like a 5/5 portal.
Oh, yeah.
And today's May the 4th. Be with you. For
May the 4th.
I love it. I got my little, where is it? It's my little chain. My rebel.
You got your rebellion. I have a t-shirt like that. No, I have a hoodie like that. And I have the Manchurian, what is it? Maladorian.
Oh, Mandalorian. The baby Yoda.
I have the t-shirt. Yeah. Love it.
Erica, are you designing anything new? Or are you like doing any other big events?
Events, no. I'm definitely in design mode though. There's a couple like art pieces that I actually really want to release like around the time of the 15th. So I'm prepping for that. And then with the line, I'm just like trying to get together a capsule collection for spring, summer. Like that, for my line in particular, it's like super big around that time. Like I feel like winter is where like I'm super dormant in terms of like bringing anything new out. But spring, summer is like really where I thrive. So I'm in the process of like more business stuff, guys, like finding locations to shoot and organizing and setting things up and looking for models and like just trying to do all of the things and also trying to make some business decisions to scale. And I feel like I'm in I was telling Joy, I'm backing up in the slingshot right now. I'm backing up in the slingshot right now where I'm like just doing things very slow. Even like posting, I've kind of just like taken a step back to posting and not being as present because I'm just like, I need to really make sure that everything is done properly. So yeah, I am creating. And it does, that's again, like I am creating, but it feels I still feel somewhat guilty in the portions where I'm taking my time. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? So working through those.
I like that vision, Erica.
Yeah, the slingshot.
That slingshot. I like that. I visualize that for myself when I'm questioning my rest or my slow pace. Yeah, I definitely know that. Like I know because I don't have many seasons where I'm, able to rest as much as I am. So I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm getting things in order. I'm getting things ready. So
yeah, and I have to just. I think the biggest thing as like creators and healers and people who are really connected to Earth, it's like you have to be okay with like everything around you moving so fast and you being like very slow. Like you being like this and everything like choo, 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 and you just being like, right, it's all right, it's all passing.
Real talk,
being a tortoise versus the hare, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling very sloth over here. I don't know why, but it's okay. I'm just gonna move with it. I'm gonna get to my destination eventually.
Yeah. And you're not alone, because I'm right.
Yeah, that's what I'm realizing. I'm like, everybody in my sisterhood is exactly the same way. I have this mastermind that I actually, I work with a couple ladies, and I usually, like, once a month, we usually get together. And I sent everybody a text the other day, and I was like, how's everybody doing for quarter 2? It was like crickets. I was like, oh, that good, huh? Like, everybody's just moving at that slow pace. Like just trying to find their footing. And I think that's completely okay. Like we got to get to the space where we're all right with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm really hoping that kind of slow paced mentality and momentum continue because now we're seeing like coming out of the pandemic, like that people are wanting to just like get back to business. And it's like,
man,
that was shitty to begin with. What y'all in a rush for? What's everybody in a rush for?
I think about it the whole time, and now I want to get back to it. I'm sorry, y'all. Like showing my bookcase. Yeah, it just doesn't. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we are in this time period in comedic science, spirituality. It's the season of a sword. So it's this idea of oneness. So so integrating this duality. Like how do I continue to move away from this fast-paced, paradigm that we are used to and really moving into this, I am this spiritual body, this spiritual essence, and what exactly am I here to do, and how can I slow down and receive and do that instead of feeling like I have to be always in this urgency, because the human mind and the human body always has some kind of crisis. Always. So moving away and then creating this, you know, just really integrating that. So yes, it is. It takes some time to really, observe, slow down and observe the mind, like what the mind is used to, what the mind wants to do, what the mind is seeing, you know, but knowing, but like, you know, when you are in this practice, there's a higher knowing, a more divine knowing that I'm going to take full advantage of this slowing down, full advantage of it.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think about that too, especially with you both that have like art ventures, like actual like tangible art ventures, and like real businesses based off of that. Because for me as a creative, I feel like that pause is very necessary, like in order to like feel that creative flow. Because if everything else is just kind of getting in the way, then like you're less creative, you know,
Yeah.
like you got all this
That's
other stuff
it.
on your mind, you know.
That's it. I'm the most. Lucretia was telling me the other day. She was like, "You pumping out art though," and I was like, "I am." I was like, "But I'm not. I'm not even focused on selling them right now because I'm creating the mess. Like
Right.
I haven't created this much more as consistent as I am in a while because I haven't had the space to be able to do that. Like my mind was cluttered with the you know,
Creative.
meticulous business part of it, the
Mm-hmm.
analytical part of it, than it was the actual creative part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that what's going to be helpful for me moving forward, which I think is, you know, the actual portion of it that we going back to like what we were talking about earlier, is like batching things or like pre-planning things ahead of time.
Yeah.
Maybe not too far ahead of time, but at least, you know, like 1 month or 2 months, like getting
Mm-hmm.
all of that stuff like filmed or recorded or photographed or whatever it is, and then just like putting it on an automation thing or hiring somebody to edit
It's
something. Like
helpful.
Joy, you and I were talking about that yesterday, hiring somebody to edit something or automating certain things, just so that I don't have to, like, if I want to be putting out things more constantly, I don't have to feel the guilt of like, well, I'm not showing up, or I'm doing myself a disservice by not showing up. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm scheduling these things so I can show up and do whatever I need to do while I have my downtimes of creativity. So just like trying to figure out which way to move and which way to like flow so that you don't have to, because it, like, the biggest thing for me is that self-guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that like disappointing of self, not even like somebody else disappointing you, it's like you disappointing yourself.
Yeah.
Biggest thing, once you get over that, I feel like that's you coming into relationship with yourself in true oneness, where you're able to be a full creative.
Man, that's it right there. That's Erica just gave me like the biggest epiphany because that's what I feel like is the biggest difference for me this year, is that I have my quarterly calendar and I never did that in this organized way before, to where I had my content for each quarter already put out. And whether or not I'm doing exactly that, I'm still following the guideline that I put there.
Yep.
And so that's where whenever I do feel guilty or wherever I'm like, I'm not being productive, which I don't want to even get into that productivity thing about. We could talk about that next week, but I can look at my calendar and be like, oh, but I'm still creating. I'm still on target for the most part for what I said I was going to do this quarter. And that is the biggest thing in business, I feel like, has really helped me organize. And it's prevented me from acting in urgency around my work.
Oh,
because I've talked about this with another sister friend of mine about like how we keep creating, and this things is not alignment with what we said we were gonna do this year. And it's like that's how I used to work. Just anything that inspired me. I know me. I'm just like, oh yeah, I could do that. I could do this. I could be everywhere. And that was the draining part of it. And I felt like I had to be in order to, you know, do whatever, to have the money or whatever, or to get my name out there, whatever it was. But now that I have that calendar, it's like, no, Joy, is that in alignment with what we said we wanted to do this year? Is that alignment with our balance? Is that alignment with our growth? Is that alignment with, you know, the highest of our vision for our business? And if it's not, that's when I can allow myself to just pull them covers back up. Yeah. Yes. Being oneness with ourselves.
Major keys.
Yes.
I love y'all.
I love y'all. I look forward to this every week. I'm so glad that you are here joining. Yeah, I'm just here for it. I appreciate y'all.
Also, y'all's glasses. I want to put my glasses on, but y'all got some fly glasses. Erica, look at this. Okay, wait. I
wasn't even planned.
There's mine.
But we out here. Fly glasses game.
We entrepreneurs.
Hey. Love. We thank y'all for holding the space with us for this Tuesday tea. If you didn't catch it, you can catch it. The replay, it will be on my page, and I'll also put it on YouTube. You can follow each and every one of us and join us every Tuesday for this Tuesday tea and bourbon. Love y'all.
Yes, pon the replay.
Yeah. You gonna play some music on the outro?
I'll give you some. This is nutmeg for y'all nutmegs. Yes.
Hey.
You can hear it. Oh. This whole album. Scientific, my hand kissing, robotic, listening, optimistic. You probably missed it. Watch me dolly dick, snap competently. Big microphone, heavy, kimchi, crispy chicken burst. I'm up the stone. Did you catch that verses? With
yeah, you know I did.
With Method and Redman.
I put it on my big screen.
I didn't see that one.
I put it on my big screen. I had to watch that, baby. Oh, Method. Don't get me started.
Only built for Cuban links. Whole nother album.
Right.
It's so hard to find some of these on vinyl, though.
Let me know which ones you gotta find. I found a brother here that's where I got that home.
I'm coming to Atlanta.
Yeah, when you coming? Y'all, we gotta talk about that, y'all, because I want us to plan our trip.
Oh yes.
We're gonna do that on the group. You know, I'm thinking y'all thinking about NOLA, so one the Christian not on here. I'm like, that might be the move.
That's the trip.
I think that's the truth. For real.
Erica, you been?
Okay.
You been? Oh, I've never been.
Yeah, I've been once or twice. I've been twice, and every single time I go, I'm like, I love it. I don't know. I might just have to have a house here, just a little something to like.
Haven't been yet.
Me either, Joy.
And I know. I was like, it's waiting for me though. I was like, it's waiting for me. Yeah. So I feel like this is what it's gonna be. So we have to talk about that, y'all.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Cool. All right, y'all.
All right, y'all.
Peace. Love. Live truth.
Bye, guys.